If you're ready.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, you dwindled down, but thank you so much for staying, and I really appreciate you hearing these bills. I think that you have a tough decision to make on any of these issues, and you obviously have a lot of people for the bills and a lot of people against the bills, and so it's a very tough situation that you're in. And I just wanted to bring up a couple of things that, as I was listening through the night, that I thought maybe I should reiterate. But, one of the things that's really difficult for all of us is just this whole idea of civic engagement and getting people to be able to respond to the legislation and to give their testimony and hear what you have to say. And obviously there was a lot of people that showed up today. And I just want to just point out one thing is that we do have the partners that Nan mentioned, and as I should say, I'm one of the founding members of the Coalition Against Gun Violence and the vice president of it. But we also have over 1,000 signatures on our petitions that we have for no guns in schools. We have over 1,000 signatures on our 10-round maximum petition that we have, and and every person that spoke here tonight as a representative of one of those organizations isn't just speaking for themselves, but is speaking for many others. So I just hope that you keep that in mind as far as the numbers are concerned and the people that are here. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. One of them was brought up by the gentleman from A.T. Wall about the economic impact of possibly moving the plant. I think that Rep. Agello asked a good question about the percentage of manufacturing that was for police and law enforcement, and the Warwick building that they have is quite a bit larger than the other one that they have. So a lot of their percentage is in the law enforcement area. But one of the things that nobody really talked about, the physician that spoke earlier mentioned a little bit, is just the actual dollar cost to the state of gun violence. And I only have statistics from data, not statistics really, but from 2013. And in Rhode Island, there was 19 intentional homicides and 1 unintentional. And if you look at the cost of a homicide in Rhode Island, and you can look at the federal data and you can look at the state data, and I can provide that to you, it actually costs, the medical cost alone is about $1.57 million per person that is shot and killed. And the work cost, if you look at actuarial tables and insurance companies that do these kind of calculations, for most of these individuals are young people. They're shot between the ages of 18 and 24, and so their work costs that they would be giving up and their family would not be receiving is over $1 million. It's $1.04 million. So just from 2013 alone, there was 20 murders, and if you add up the numbers, it's about $50 million just for those instances that happen. Now, when there's 20, murders, there's usually 3 times as many attempted murders. It's usually like a 2-to-1 ratio. So those other 40,000, I haven't even included in here, but you can extrapolate those numbers to, sometimes people that survive gun violence actually have more costs because of the rehabilitation and, medical costs and lost wages and things like that. So there's a huge cost for gun violence, as the physician mentioned, and 65 to 80% of that is borne by the taxpayers and by the state of Rhode Island, because most of the people that are shot don't have insurance that would nearly cover any of that. So I think that's an important issue. If you're going to talk about economics, I think that's a very important issue. The other thing that's been brought up several times is the idea that many of the gun cases get dropped. And I would just like to alert people to the fact that Stacey Veroni, who's the head of the criminal division at the AG's office, testified at the governor's roundtable discussion. That issue was brought up, and her response to that was that the majority of those cases are actually moved to federal court. And I'm not an attorney, so I don't know all the processes, but I would think that if we're going to look into this issue, I think that she's somebody that should be spoken to really find out what the what the real issue is with these cases. Are they really being dropped, or are they actually being moved to federal court? So, and I want to just comment to one of the previous gentlemen that just spoke, and I'm not going to go on much longer, but, Vermont is what they call a constitutional carry, which is just basically that you don't have to have any regulations to carry a gun. And it is the 8th highest in the country for the number of men who kill women as you're tracking them. And you can go to the Violent Policy Center and look at that data. So there are ramifications for just, allowing people to have guns that maybe shouldn't have them. And I want to just also say that Governor Raimondo did submit a letter to you in support of House Bill 7575, also House Bill 7283, 7243, and 7199. I would read it to you, but my phone does not get Wi-Fi in this building, so I can't get some things never change, so I wasn't able to do it. So I think that that's all that I really wanted to say, and I just want to thank you again for staying and for listening, and appreciate all that you're doing to look into this issue and to try to bring people together, because we've heard a lot of things about everybody seems to think that we should do something about the issue of domestic violence, and I think it's up to this committee and up to all of us that are involved to try to work together to try to find a solution to that is palatable to everyone, and that really does solve a problem. So I hope that everyone will work towards that. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for former Representative Finn?